So I'm going to let Ben and Penny kind of wrap here because I'm just still in awe of what transpired. And Penny, a little bit about me as a single bachelor. Ephrata was my stomping grounds. I had an apartment in the Royer Building on South Main Street. I might have been known once or twice to walk home from the AMVETS down the street. So, but the Ephrata Public Library, when I worked in construction right after high school, was right across the street from Gooding, Simpson, and Macus Roofing. I did like copper work and historical restoration, hung off of cranes, which was fun. That was fun times. But yeah, so I saw, and I think that was about the time when the building was greatly expanded. I think.
So yeah, the building used to be, it was a very small library down on Fulton Street, and was the one that's on the hill now has been there since the 90s.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Very good. All right. Well.
Yeah, we don't need to bring up any more embarrassing stories or traumatic experiences, Penny.
Oh, I will. Make notes.
Tell us more about you and your history with the library and what the library is there to do, the Ephrata Public Library.
Well, I feel like I've been with the library forever. I will be celebrating my 20th year with the library in February. So it's been a while. This is our first week that we are fully open again since the shutdown last year. So
that's awesome.
Our doors are open to our regular hours. We're open Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. and Saturday from 9 to 1. Right now, our passport service is open 6 days a week. So if you are planning on taking a trip anywhere, make your appointment to get your passport now, because there is a wait to get an appointment. And, we're starting in-person programming as well as still doing some virtual programming. We've got a home delivery service that we've been expanding. We're also continuing with contactless locker service for folks that just aren't quite ready to come into the building yet and look for books. We'll pick them out for you, and you can pick them up in our lockers. So we are we're rip-roaring ready for summer reading. We can't wait to welcome everyone back into our building and help everyone catch up on what turned out to be a one-year summer slide as far as reading goes for kids. So we really want to make sure that we are providing all the resources that we possibly can as far as regular basic literacy goes. But, we've also got our fingers into all kinds of other literacies in Ephrata. So we also run the Northern Lancaster Hub, which is a collective impact partnership of social service agencies funded by the United Way. So right now we're providing, with our partners, we're providing a 5-day-a-week free shuttle. So if you need a ride around town, you can just jump on the shuttle for free. We're offering all kinds of, we have a day center for homeless folks in our community to try to help them get a leg up and, find jobs and housing. We're running the community garden. So this year we're hoping to provide at least 1,500 pounds of produce to our food bank. So that's it. We're in our third year of the community garden, and that has become really successful. And this year we've kind of expanded it a little bit more by adding an indoor lettuce tower in the library lobby, which is, it's really cool looking. It looks like a spaceship with plants growing out of it, and it's about 6 foot tall. It's a hydroponic
vegetable
garden. Right. There it is. There's a photo of it right there, but it's now like grown way out beyond the lights. So we're harvesting there as well. And all the food that we raise goes either to the food bank or to our cooking courses at the library, because we found that as we started growing some vegetables, people were like, what's kohlrabi? And they wouldn't take it from the food bank unless we taught them how to cook with it. So we've been really busy trying to serve all of the needs that our community has by helping to be the referral agency. So we're not actually doing any of that social service work, but when people need those things, they come to the library, and then we can refer them to the best partner. And it's really saving all of us a lot of time doing it that way. So yeah, we're real busy at the library and doing lots of things that libraries wouldn't necessarily expect.
Yeah, that's interesting. Like as a kid, the library was a place where you went with your parents to get a book, maybe play Oregon Trail on the
Right.
old school Mac that's there. But you've obviously seen things change over the years, and these programs are just amazing. That I never thought that a public library would offer those types of services.
Right. We have our own esports league. And we have kids that are practicing every week. A lot of schools and universities have them, but public libraries don't really have them. So we have this esports league, which is really unique because a lot of the kids in it are homeschoolers, and there aren't a lot of homeschooling esports leagues out there. So it's a nice option for us. That's a photo of the shuttle where you can jump on and grab a ride. But also, one of the really cool things that we're going to be adding in the next couple of weeks is something that we're calling the Talk Tank. And it looks like a phone booth. It's soundproof with its own ventilation system. And if someone is in crisis, they can go into the Talk Tank and be automatically connected to a therapist at WellSpan Phil Haven to do crisis counseling and getting them help.
Wow.
So
wow.
if there is anyone in the community that is feeling helpless and hopeless and doesn't have a place to turn, they can come to the library and go in the soundproof booth and get help immediately. And we're hoping it could really make a difference because we are seeing a lot of mental health issues surrounding the pandemic and just life in general. So this is a way that we thought we could bring such an important resource right to the lobby of the library. So that's something we're incredibly proud of. And we believe there isn't anything like this. Like, we created the idea of doing this. So we're hoping that it'll kind of catch on.
That is very, very cool sad that it exists, but tremendous kudos to you and the team there at the library to come up with that. It's interesting because, like I said, I was living in the area when the library was built, when it was planned. And I think generally, if I had to sum up the sentiment at the time, it was skepticism. People didn't really kind of get the vision of it.
Right.
But boy, 25, 27 years later, holy cow. And the garden, am I correct? That's right there on the property. Is that right?
So we have like a small teaching garden on the property, and then the big community garden is across the street at the Haller property. So people within Ephrata can also rent spots in the community garden and donate some of their produce that they grow as well. So the whole idea is, we need to all support each other, and we need to surround people who are having problems with all the resources and the solutions that they need. But it can't just be one person. We have to do this together as a community in order to make that real change long lasting. And in reality, all of these things are literacies that that libraries in Pennsylvania teach. We talk about financial literacy and health literacy and civic and social literacy. Libraries aren't just about books, and I think this is a great way to illustrate that.
So how are you doing right now coming out of COVID? What are some of the things that you're doing and offering to the community? Yeah, right?
Yeah, it's been rough. And I'll tell you, one of the reasons it's been rough is because a lot of people think that libraries are taxpayer funded, that they're 100% taxpayer funded, and that's just not the case. So in my case, we have to raise about 65 or 70% of our budget, which is about $1 million. So it's a lot of money that we have to raise. For Ephrata, a big chunk of that came from income from the passport office, which has been closed because they weren't issuing passports. So it has been a struggle. We've been lucky that we were able to get a PPP loan and, get some grants from CARES money that was out there. But we need to be really careful and thoughtful about, how we move forward to make sure that we continue to have enough funding to keep these great projects that we've been working on. So, it's been rough with COVID, but I know that the people in the Ephrata community use this library so heavily, and they value it. So I'm sure we're going to find a solution.
Yeah, that's interesting here. I'm not ashamed to admit it. I'm one of those folks that thought public libraries were fully funded.
No.
Shame on me. So
no, not at all.
We'll address that a little later in the show, I think. But so the esports thing kind of piqued my interest because my youngest son is really, well, both of them play computer games like crazy. But and we try to limit that. That's why we're doing the camping, to get family together outdoors and unplug, right? But a lot of folks, I think, especially like maybe my grandparents and my parents, they kind of look down at the computer game stuff. But I mean, the reality is computers are here to stay. It's very much a part of our society anymore, very much a part of any career. I mean, if you have a plumber come to your home and they're working for any kind of sizable company, like Holler isn't necessarily plumbing, although they do plumbing. I think they're more HVAC focused. Their techs are coming. They've got a tablet. They're having to punch through and update the job orders, order the parts, all this stuff. So computers are very much a part. But talk about the esports league. What like some people might not even understand what that is.
Well, basically, these kids, it's not just that they get together and play video games. They actually run their team. So they design their uniforms. They take care of their marketing. They have all kinds of kind of business background things that they have to do for their team. In order to stay on the team, they have to keep their grades up. It is not just that they get together once a week and play video games. They're actually almost running their own little team and they all have responsibilities within it. So it teaches them a lot about responsibility and almost what it would be like if you were working in a job, some of those responsibilities. So I think maybe even, my generation and people older than me think, oh, they just get together and they just game and that's it. But it is a lot more than that. And I could not believe how much money people can make that are doing esports professionally. It's unbelievable.
It's millions of dollars, right?
Yeah,
like
it's
the top
crazy
tier,
amounts of money.
Yep.
Of money. But I do believe that the kids are getting a lot more out of it than just playing games. And I think that's why organizations like in Lancaster County, the Emerald Foundation has really embraced esports and, has someone within the organization that is just all they do is esports and running, taking care of these leagues throughout the county with schools and universities. It really is, kids learn lots of valuable lessons doing these things. As you know, sometimes the most valuable lessons you learn are the ones that you actually don't know you're learning.
Sure. So, how many kids participate in that?
Well, I think it depends. We went through a lot of recruiting issues at the beginning. I think right now we have like 9 kids that are faithful, and we're recruiting some more right now because we are like a community organization. The school district has one, and so we're still getting our team, a full team together, and when they win, I hear about it because it doesn't happen often. But I'm so happy when they're starting to win finally, because I think we went like a year without any wins at all.
You gotta start somewhere.
Yeah, and it has been really nice with the teens, because when COVID happened, the library opened a Discord channel for teens, and we have staff on there with them so they can game and do book discussions and all kinds of things on Discord where they're all very comfortable. So I feel like we kept our relationships with a lot of those teen patrons throughout the pandemic, even though they couldn't come in and hang out at the building every day after school. So for us, it was a really great. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry to cut you off there. For our listeners, so I know what Discord is. I think, Ben, you know what Discord is.
I don't know.
Yeah, Ben doesn't know. It's another social media platform. A lot of younger kids, young adults.
Yeah, you have to
use
be
it.
really cool.
We've already established the coolness meter for me. My kids aren't old enough for the disco thing.
The disco. See, there you go, old man, old timer. Yeah. So for our listeners, Discord is not like, Discord typically means you're frustrated with something or there's a, animosity in the conversation. Discord, it's literally yet another social media platform, if you will, although more focused on specific topic conversation and, different verticals. I mean, I'm sure there's a Discord channel for just about anything, esports, books,
So
various
we
college
kind of created our own and left the rules in there so that they have to follow our rules on our channel.
Sure.
Because gotta keep an eye on that stuff.
Yeah, when you said you have esports, I'm kind of like I'm aware of how some of the gaming and call outs go.
Right.
So I'm sure you do an effective job.
It's very
of managing
organized and supervised.
Yeah. So, as the Northern Lancaster County hub, you're doing a lot of things. I'll just kind of rattle off what I heard. You've got the shuttle helping people get around Northern Lancaster County, Effort to Denver, Reamstown, Reinholds. I guess those would be the four major parts of that northern part of the county.
Right. The food bank,
all
the clothing bank, all that stuff. Yeah.
Yep. Doing the food bank, clothing bank. The talk tank, I think you'd referenced Emerald Foundation. Were they somewhat instrumental in helping bring that to life? Who helped?
No, the Emerald Foundation. The Emerald Foundation was with esports. The talk tank is actually WellSpan Phil Haven, and they are a member of the hub. So they're the partners on that project.
That's great. I mean, again, I think our goal of this show is to bring the community together. I think a lot of folks, might have some skepticism of big corporate healthcare. Well, here's a shining example, right in our community where they help to fund something that a lot of people right now, and maybe even people that wouldn't think they could be mentally taxed, mentally stressed out, anxious. I mean, the last 15 months for some folks have just been, a marathon that they don't want to run, that they didn't want to be a part of. Nobody wanted to be a part of it, but some were more equipped, better able to handle the last 15 months than others. And I think for our community, there's a great level of mutual respect that needs to exist to understand that. And the talk tank thing is really great that they can so that's free. Is that what I'm understanding? You can come in and just phone a friend, literally.
Right. And I'll tell you, the whole idea behind that came as a result of a community crisis where a young person at the high school committed suicide, and my library was full of teenagers that were just besides themselves crying, and we didn't feel like we had the resources to deal with that. And this ultimately 4 years later is the result of kind of brainstorming about how do we deal with situations like that in a community when we are definitely in need of mental health assistance and there's none to be had. So we thought this would be a really good way. I mean, it's not something you're going to go there every week for counseling, for a regular counseling session. But if you are in crisis, this is a place where you can go that we can take care of you.
Yeah.
How
would people know that this exists?
So it is right in the lobby. There's film on the window, so no one can see when you go inside. But it's right in the lobby. You go right inside, and it connects you with on video with someone from WellSpan Phil Haven. So we've just started advertising it. We'll be promoting it within the community, but I have learned over the years that things like this, the people that need them, find them.
Yeah.
There's enough people in the community that know, there's enough people that know it's there. And when the opportunity is needed, there's someone there to refer them. So we're hoping that word of mouth works for this.
Yeah. Well, part of what we do with the show is we clip out your interview. We'll clip out Rob's interview, clip out some other fun stuff and hijinks. But all jokes aside, what we'll do, production team, we've got a production team. They're really great. Get Super Serial, Simon and Billy. We'll just make a mental note here. Let's really make sure we clip this out specifically about the talk tank, and we'll throw some ad dollars behind it on Facebook to help spread the word as well, and get that out for sure.
Yeah, I think this stuff is really important for our community.
It is. It is. My oldest son had in his high school just a couple weeks back, I guess 3 weeks ago, one of his peers committed suicide as well. And I'm looking at a Snapchat, and you'd think here's a very happy, well-adjusted child, and just not the case. So, at any rate, kudos to you, the public library. As we wrap up our time with you, what can the community do to support Ephrata Public Library?
We're always looking for donations. Right now, we're not taking a lot of volunteers because we have some capacity limits that we can't fit so many people in the building. But, use your public library. Get to find out what resources are there, because there are so many things that I think people spend money for that they wouldn't have to. They can download books for free from the library. They can stream movies from the library with their card for free. They can learn new languages from the library. So get to know what resources are offered. There is literally something there for everyone if you just look. And if you can't find it, give me a call and I'll find it for you.
There you go. Well, I kind of alluded to this a little earlier. Again, I readily admit I felt public library funded. So what we're going to do every week, we do a little donation to charities that come on, organizations. So we're going to donate $125 as well to
thank you so
Ephrata
much.
Public Library. Okay, kind of do a little kickoff of generosity here through our channel, Lancaster Connects. So we'll do that. We're happy to do it. Thanks for all the great stuff you do. Remember, this show is also available as a podcast. You can find the links at lancasterconnects.com. Please like and share this video. Leave a comment. Tell a friend about this show. We would greatly appreciate that. There on the screen, you can see the various podcast icons. So it might remind you, oh, yeah, I listened to that one. Search up Lancaster Connects in that one. We'll get you square.